Judith Maria and welcome to SC Global News. From Donald Trump's warning that US might consider military intervention in Nigeria to Pope Francis's nurse receiving an honorary degree by Maria College, we have many stories to cover. US President Donald Trump warned that the United States might consider military intervention in Nigeria unless authorities end what he called an ongoing genocide against Christians. He affirmed that Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern and claimed his administration would not remain silent about the attack on believers. Nigeria's government rejected the accusations, arguing that Washington's stance distorts its complex security situation and reflects political motives.
In a sharply critical message, US President Donald Trump has warned that the United States may consider military intervention in Nigeria if authorities do not put an end to what he described as the ongoing genocide against Christian community. In a statement released by the White House on Wednesday, Trump argued that Christians in Nigeria and other countries are facing a dire threat, insisting that his administration will not remain silent while innocent believers are targeted. Trump's remarks echoed previous comments he made last week, accusing radical Islamist group of carrying out a wave of deadly attacks on Christian population in Nigeria. He also confirmed that Nigeria has been redesignated as a country of particular concern, a label used by the US government for nations accused of major abuses of religious freedom. Nigeria's government has sharply dismissed Washington's claim and the renewed designation. Formation Minister Mohammed Idris accused Trump of distorting the situation, asserting that the threats of US military action ignore the complex nature of Nigeria's security challenges and are driven by political motives rather than facts.
The Diocese of Cuautitlán reported on Friday the disappearance of the priest Ernesto Baldassar Hernandez Vilches, who was last seen on October 27 in a La Piedad Extension Colony, municipality of Tutelpec in the state of Mexico. The 43-year-old priest had recently assumed the parish of Santa Cruz in the same municipality. State authorities have already issued a search form to locate him.
Father Ernesto Baltasar Hernandez Vilches has been reported missing by the Mexican Diocese of Cuautitlán. According to the news outlet Milenio, the priest was last seen on October 27 in the Ambulacion La Piedad neighborhood in the state of Mexico. Diocese has officially lodged a complaint with the authorities. In a statement, Bishop Efrain Mendoza indicated that the diocese was fully and completely willing to collaborate with the authorities to find the priest. He also urged the church community to avoid speculation and to stay informed only through official diocesan channel. Bishop has requested the clergy and the Catholic community of Cuautitlán to pray for the safe return of Father Ernesto. An investigation is underway and the state of Mexico's Missing Person Search Commission has requested the public's help in providing any information that helps locate the priest. The disappearance of priests has become a worrying phenomenon in Mexico. Catholic Church has been calling for thorough investigations and justice as the clergy face violence in the country. Recently, another Catholic priest, Father Bertoldo Panilian Estrada, was found dead on October 6 after being reported missing.
On Wednesday, November 5th, Malaysia's High Court determined that Pastor Raymond Khoo, who has been missing since 2017, was abducted due to the responsibility of the government and police, with earlier investigations suggesting that authorities had disappeared him because he was perceived as a threat to Islam. Malaysia's High Court ruled on Wednesday that the government and police were responsible for the 2017 abduction of Pastor Raymond Khoo. The court decided in favor of Pastor Khoo's wife, Susanna Liu, awarding her family about $7.4 million in their lawsuit against the authorities. According to the BBC, after the verdict, Susanna shared that they are overjoyed and thankful to God for a fair and honest judgment. While this ruling will not bring Pastor Raymond back, it provides closure closure for the family. Pastor Ko was abducted from his car in a suburb of Kuala Lumpur in 2017 in broad daylight, and the abduction was captured on camera. His family has long maintained that the police were involved in his disappearance. Investigations by Malaysia's Human Rights Commission and the government concluded that Pastor Ko was likely abducted by the police's Allied Special Branch Unit as he was perceived as a threat to mainstream Islam in the Muslim-majority country. A government report indicated that rogue police officers carried out the abduction, led by an official known for holding extreme views against Christians and Shia Muslims. The report stated that Pastor Ko was targeted due to the suspicions that he was converting Muslims, an allegation his family has denied. In Malaysia, leaving the Islamic faith is considered a criminal offence under the state laws and can result in fines or imprisonment. The High Court held police officials, the Royal Malaysian Police, and the Malaysian government liable for Pastor Ko's abduction and awarded the largest damages in the nation's history. In addition to the $7 million for emotional distress, the court also ordered that $2,380 to be paid in general damages for each day for Pastor Ko's disappearance from the date of his abduction until the state reveals his whereabouts. The judge also directed the authorities to reopen the investigation and locate Pastor Ko. He was formerly a pastor at the Evangelical Free Church in Petaling Jaya, who later founded Harapan Community, a non-profit organization dedicated to social and charitable work among marginalized and underprivileged groups. The organization supports people living with HIV/AIDS, recovering drug addicts, single mothers, and their children. Approximately half of Malaysia's population is ethnic Malay, with the remainder comprising ethnic Chinese, Indian, and indigenous groups. According to the Article 160 of the Constitution, all ethnic Malays are considered Muslim, and converting Malay is prohibited by law. Article 3 of the Constitution declares that Islam is a religion of the Federation. However, other religions may be freely practiced in peace and harmony throughout the Federation. Donald Trump reacted sharply to Zohran Mamdani's electoral victory in New York, claiming that the city had lost a little bit of its sovereignty and labeling the Democratic Socialist a communist who could transform the metropolis into a communist Cuba or socialist peninsula, while predicting a mass exodus of residents to Florida, with Miami serving as a refuge. In response, Mamdani, highlighting his own immigrant roots, portrayed his win as a resounding rejection of Trump-style divisive politics, urging greater accountability and systemic change.
President Donald Trump has strongly criticized New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani, labeling his victory speech very angry and declaring that the incoming leader is off to a bad start. In a social media post, Mr. Trump warned that such tone could imperil effective administration of the nation's largest metropolis. Mr. Mamdani, a 33-year-old Democratic State Assemblyman, achieved a narrow upset victory over former Governor Andrew Cuomo, driven by progressive commitments to housing affordability, public safety reform, and climate action. His acceptance address at Barclays Center denounced corporate greed and pledged to dismantle systematic inequities, rhetoric that galvanized supporters but provoked concerns among moderates. Business groups and police unions have aligned with Mr. Trump's apprehensions, highlighting a $10 billion budget shortfall and escalating homelessness. Mr. Mamdani's advisors rejected the remark as a partisan rhetoric as the mayor-elect approaches his January inauguration. The episode illuminates enduring ideological rifts in American municipal governance.
Aid to the Church in Need has launched the Red Wednesday initiative to increase global awareness of the persecution faced by Christians. On November 19th, churches and schools around the world will be illuminated in red to commemorate the sacrifices of Christian martyrs. As religious persecution of Christians continues to rise, the Red Wednesday campaign, spearheaded by ASEAN, is receiving widespread international support. The Pontifical Charity Aid to the Church in Need has introduced the Red Wednesday initiative designed to raise global awareness of the religious persecution endured by Christians. This year, the observance will take place on Wednesday, November 19th. The purpose of Red Wednesday is to show solidarity with Christians who are persecuted and killed daily for their faith in Christ, while also highlighting this critical issue on a global stage. The campaign was established in 2016 as an opportunity to shine light on millions of people who are persecuted for their faith. On November 19th, churches and schools worldwide will be lit up in red to honor the sacrifices of Christian martyrs. Amid rising religious persecution of Christians, the Red Wednesday observance launched by ASEAN is gaining significant global support. Events marking Red Wednesday are being held in churches across countries such as France, Germany, Austria, Australia, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Colombia, Ireland, Mexico, the Netherlands, the Philippines, Portugal, Slovakia, and Switzerland. Red Wednesday serves as a reminder of the vital importance of religious freedom, a fundamental human right guaranteed by Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It encourages everyone to make a visible act of solidarity by wearing red, the color symbolizing martyrdom, as a sign of unity with Christians facing persecution. Grief and relief echo through the Catholic Diocese of Auchi in Nigeria as church officials confirmed the release of two abducted seminarians and the tragic death of the third. The diocese expressed gratitude for the safe return of Japhet Jesse and Joshua Aloba while mourning Emmanuel Alabi, who died in captivity. Church leaders urged authorities to confront Nigeria's deepening insecurity. The Catholic Diocese of Auchi in southern Nigeria has announced the release of two seminarians abducted on July 10th during an armed attack on the Immaculate Conception Minor Seminary in Ivianokopori, Edo State. The diocese also confirmed the death of the third seminarian, Emmanuel Alabi, who reportedly lost his life during captivity. In a statement issued on November 4th, Assistant Director of Communications, Father Benedict Imodemhe, said Japhet Jesse had been released earlier while Joshua Alabuwa regained his freedom last week. He expressed profound sorrow over Alabi's death. He relayed Bishop Gabriel Gaikomo Dunia's heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families and the seminary community. Bishop Dunia, through a statement shared with ACI Africa, condemned Nigeria's worsening insecurity and urged political leaders to prioritize citizens' safety or political ambitions ahead of the 2027 elections. He called on security agencies to intensify efforts to protect lives and property nationwide. The bishop also appealed for prayers for Alabi's repose and peace in the nation. Church officials reaffirmed their commitment to faith, justice, and reconciliation, entrusting comfort for the victims' families to the God's mercy. According to earlier reports, a security guard was also killed in the July attack, which drew national concern. Massimiliano Strappetti, who was nurse to His Holiness Pope Francis, has been recognized with the honorary degree by Maria College in recognition of his exceptional dedication to patient advocacy, clinical excellence, and compassionate care principles that reflect both the college's mission and the legacy of the Sisters of Mercy. Maria College in Albany, New York, has awarded an honorary degree to Massimiliano Strappetti, the Vatican nurse who cared for Pope Francis. The college, sponsored by the Sisters of Mercy of Americas, honored Strappetti for his outstanding commitment to patient advocacy, clinical excellence, and compassionate care. College President Dr. Lynn Ortill, accompanied by the Vice President of the Institutional Advancement, presented the degree during a visit to Rome last week. Dr. Ortill stated that Strappetti stood up for Pope when it mattered the most, and that his voice and presence made a real difference in one person's life. Maria College's website notes that Strappetti courageously advocated for Pope Francis on February 28th when doctors had to decide whether to stop treatment or continue with the risky, aggressive care. Pope Francis had already faced 4 life-threatening crises, but Strappetti urged the doctors to try everything and not to give up. Because of his advocacy, the Pope recovered recovered enough to return to the Vatican by late March and joined Easter celebrations one last time. According to the press release, Strappetti began his nursing career in 1991 at Rome's Agostino Gemelli Hospital. When Pope John Paul II was hospitalized there, Strappetti was assigned to care for him, which led to his transfer to the Vatican. He then served Pope John Paul II, Benedict XVI, and Pope Francis, becoming the first nurse in Vatican history appointed to lead a medical team. That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.